Hey guys, welcome back to the Multifamily Marketers Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Grillo, co-founder here at Resident 360, and I'm also joined by my co-host, Caroline Mills. Caroline, how are we?
Hi, Josh. Doing great today. Thanks for having me.
It's looking quite festive in your background. I know everybody can't see you on camera right now because this is an audio recording, but let me try to explain the picture I'm seeing. You've got a very tall, pointed Christmas tree, fully decorated, in lights on behind you. So you go all out for the season, don't you?
I do. I am a November 1st, turkey tastes the same with the tree up, Christmas kind of gal.
And this can't be the only tree. How many trees do you have?
No, this is one of three trees in my, whole 1,200 square foot apartment.
Yeah. Wow. All right. And lots of lights too, I bet.
Oh yeah, I love the Christmas spirit here.
That's great. All right. Well, I want to go ahead and kind of jump into today's topic. Just recently, actually within, I believe it was like the last week, Spark, they just released their 2026 local search ranking factors. So they are out, and that they're actually, their research kind of in the industry is a little bit considered the Bible when it comes to local rankings data. What they do is they actually survey, I think, 47 of the best and brightest local search experts are invited to complete a comprehensive 2-hour survey, weighing in and scoring 187 factors and answering open-ended questions about what they see driving local search rankings today. And then each factor is scored between a 0 and 5 across the following areas. Caroline, you ready for this one? The local pack maps ranking impact, local organic ranking impact, conversion impact, and AI search visibility impact, which is new for 2026. So in a nutshell, this is a great study to pay attention to. We'll put a link to it in the podcast section on our website for this episode, so you can go there and check out the report yourself. But this really gives you an idea of some of the true driving factors when it comes to local search traffic. More importantly, what you need to be paying attention to. So Caroline, I know you've spent some time on this report. You've talked about this report in your meetings. Are you ready to jump into this thing?
I am ready. Let's jump in.
All right, so let's just start right at the top. Why should multifamily marketers care about this report?
Yeah, I think this has been one of the most important and influential years on how we're seeing such a big shift. If you've been in the industry a long time, you've seen over time how it's shifted to a digital world. But I think now in the last year, especially just 2025, 2024, is how much we are shifting digitally. It's not that you're just online. Now there's AI platforms. Now there's AI bots. Now there's new things that Google indexes and changes all the time. So I always think it's great to keep up with these, and it can affect your marketing dollars and how you are marketing your property and what to focus on. I know it seems like they're always shifting, but they are. And so it is great to stay ahead of it and kind of see these new things that they see trending to stay ahead of the game.
That's well put. Now let's break this down even more. So when we're saying local search, what does it actually mean for properties? Is it just about being on Google Maps, or is there a lot more to it?
Yeah, there is a little bit more to it. So I know it just seems like, just being on Google, it's definitely great to have that, claimed and optimized and, correct. But there is a lot more that's going into it. And it's how AI search is going to feed into this. We've talked on some other episodes of coming up in the AI summaries, what it's going to mean for reviews and how that's impacting your local search. So it's not, just one thing or another anymore. And they talk about some really great things. It's not only your Google business profile signals, but it's also your review signals. It's what's coming from on page and comparing it to Google, the behavioral signals, where your links are and your link signals, citation signals, personalization, and then a new trending and emerging one is your social signals. And I know that's a lot of signals thrown in there, but that is what Google is doing, is it's crawling all these different things and seeing how they compare, and it puts them in different orders. And so I think this article does a great job of showing you how that's shifted over the years and what to put the most focus on. And there are different kinds of things you need to focus on depending what you want to be showing for, whether that's local map packs, whether that's local organic, or that's AI search. So I think it's very helpful in that instance.
All right. So when it comes to the 2026 local search ranking factors. What do you think stood out the most in this year's results? Anything really surprising to you?
I think the one about, social signals is a brand new one. They're like claiming for the first time this year is now sneaking up into the pack. And while it's low at the bottom of each of these categories, it is sneaking up in there. And it's something we're always reemphasizing to our teams. I think everyone gets stuck in the paid media world, but I think still focusing on that organic content that you're posting on social media. And I know it's hard. You do have to focus a lot of different things at one time, and it is that relevancy and it is that consistency. I think on-page signals kind of moving down in local map pack and up in AI search makes complete sense. What is on our website that AI is going to run and tell us what to rank for. We talk about that with GEO. And then your reviews. Review signals continue to stay high in AI search and local map packs. And so it is, always vitally important in a review-driven world to make sure that's staying up there.
One thing I noticed on this report is that businesses open at the time of search. So think about that for a second. If on your Google Business profile, you have your hours, your property hours that you're open, right? Google is more inclined to show your property when it's open to people that are actually searching versus when you're closed. So if you're closed, there's probably or could potentially be a dip in traffic from Google Business Profile for people that are actually searching because Google's just not showing it because makes sense. This is closed, right? You're not taking tours.
Yeah.
So that's just something to think about. That's something that I think that really has come up over this last year, and a lot of people probably don't pay enough attention to, but they're really favoring, showing people are showing businesses that are actually open during the time that person is searching. All right.
Yeah.
Moving right along, Whitespark ranked primary business category. We're talking about Google Business Profile here, and review signals as top factors again. So, Caroline, why are those such big deal makers for rankings?
Yeah, I think it's not surprising that these continue to stay at the top for local pack and maps ranking is one, this is something we're preaching to our clients all the time, is your GBP, making sure that NAP, that name, address, phone number is consistent everywhere, making sure, like you just said, your hours are up to date. Everything is possibly correct on there. You have hours listed, your website's correct, making sure that is still staying strong, that you're posting to it, that it's staying relevant. And then, reviews. I think reviews we're going to continue to see, which it's showing high in AI search, which we'll get to, but review signals are going to continue to be the top factor. And we talk about that with your digital audit, your digital curb appeal, all of those things. But reviews are vitally important. One, it's not only showing that you're a great place to live, but it's also mentioning key things in the review that are going to start feeding into these summaries and start getting you to rank on things. So, if you're looking for a pet-friendly community, and all the reviews are talking about how they love your pet park and they love your pet wash station, it's just telling Google over and over again like that people love living here, they love the reviews, they love the pet perks, and it's going to continue to get you to rank along with what you're putting in your GBP. So it's all kind of feeding together there. And while your reviews are in your GBP, that makes sense that they're both ranking there for local reasons.
And one of the other things I'll add to this is, and if you go back, we actually did a pretty extensive Google Business Profile optimization podcast episode, one of the early episodes we've done. But one of the big things is, we said primary business categories. So making sure when you are filling out your Google Business Profile, you are choosing the right category. Right. So you have a primary category, and then you can choose a whole bunch of secondary categories. So you want to choose as many as you can. So it's super, super, super important. You're going to automatically choose one when you fill out your listing. But what most people forget is you can actually have multiple. And highly recommend you go back and listen to that episode because we do list out all the categories that you can choose for your listing. So the more, the merry, the more you show up in local search. All right.
Absolutely.
Talking about on-page signals, we've been mentioning it a bunch here, like content, internal links. How can a property website use that to its advantage, Caroline?
Yeah. And this one's great. We're talking about it all the time with SEO, on-page signals, what you're backlinking to, what's on your page. But, you're going to want to use this in all of these categories. What is AI? What is Google crawling on your page and on your website? And how is it going to tell people when they're searching phrases or keywords or apartments around me? What is it going to feed and tell them is the most relevant for them? So that really is, we have a couple episodes in here too of like, how are you optimizing your homepage? What are you putting on there for people to land on and go to? It, is primarily your homepage, but taking a look at all internal pages and what you're linking where. But what is on your homepage? Are you saying that you're pet friendly? Are you saying the location you're in? Are you saying the amount of apartments that you have 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms? Are you saying all of these key kind of words that you want to optimize to still place naturally and locally and organically on Google? So again, that one is, not surprising that it's ranking high. I think it would surprise most people that it could come under the GBP. Like people think, oh, well, like my website, everyone's going to go on and apply. I think that could surprise them that it actually comes third in this category, but it's still just as vitally important.
Absolutely. I do want to stress something when it comes to on-page signals. Think about consistency, right? So consistency across all your property website pages. So title tags, meta descriptions, H1 tags, H2 tags, the content, right? What are you really trying to rank for? Think about that. Think about the neighborhood you're in, your community, if it's 1, 2 bedroom apartments in Nashville, Tennessee, or if it's a small neighborhood in Nashville, Tennessee, whatever it is you're trying to rank for, just think about consistency. How can you have that keyword phrase in everything you're doing, from the title tag, meta description, H1 tag, to your content, to actually interlinking throughout different pages on your site, blogs if you have it, you name it. So consistency is definitely key when it comes to that stuff. So next thing, Caroline, any factors you think are overrated or outdated at this point? I got one.
Let's see. Yeah. Get us started.
All right. So one thing I thought of is outgoing links from your website. So there was kind of a time where it's like there was that, you want to make sure you're also linking out from your website to other sites, right, that are of importance. But I don't think that's as I think it's a little overrated now with everything that's going on. So I'm not so concerned about outgoing links from my website. Now, obviously, I want links coming into my website, but ones going out, I don't think that's something that's, I think it's a little bit overrated at this point. Anything you can think of?
One I'm thinking of, and they're doing some changes right now as far as Q&A and what they're going to include in the actual GBP now. And we've talked about it in GEO, SEO, but having ways that you're including that kind of conversational or question like how people are interacting with AI, if they're going to change how it is on the GBP, of making sure you are, we've talked about the importance of Q&A pages or things like that, but that is going to kind of feed into a lot of different things. It's going to have more interaction on that page on your website. It's also going to be pulling in those on-page signals from that page. I think that'll be one coming in, that we're seeing move up. But as far as, link signals through blogs or behavioral signals of how people are interacting on those FAQ pages, I think we're going to see that continue to rise in the AI search portion of this.
So what about biggest mistakes you see right now properties making and when it comes to their listings? And when I say listings, I'm mainly speaking about Google business listings, obviously.
Yeah, I think one of the easiest and most overlooked ones is hours, making sure they're correct and matching your website. I'll see ones all the time where they've shifted maybe their winter hours or their summer hours, or they're no longer open on Saturday, or worse, they are open on Saturday, but Google says they aren't. So now you're missing out on all these things. And then I had another one recently of just not having the website link. Like that's so important. And while yes, you're ranking, organically, but not having the website link in your GBP is a huge one. And then photos. Those are my top 3 that I always see, is having outdated photos, bad looking photos, photos uploaded by people that aren't even your community, like just really looking at the photos and taking a minute to upload those.
Now, Whitespark in their report, they emphasize review recency, not just review. Oh. So why is that such a major trust and ranking signal?
Yeah, one, it's telling Google that you are paying attention to your GBP and that something is constantly being posted on it and interacted with, and it's not an old listing, it's being updated. So one, from that sense of Google saying, okay, I see that people are still interacting with this business. It's still important. People still like it. And then 2 is, just from a leasing perspective, if I'm looking at apartments around me and, the most recent review was maybe a 2-star review from 3 years ago and that's all that's been there, I'm going to be like, oh, I don't know if I trust them. Versus seeing a different one across the street that has, there might be one negative review in there, but in the past like 3 months, I've seen like 12 reviews come in. I'm like, okay, these are people that just moved in. I feel like I can trust what they're saying because I'm going to be moving in soon. Or these are people that say, hey, I've been here 3 years, I'm renewing, this has been great. I'm going to trust them a lot more than something from 3 years ago where I'm like, okay, those people probably aren't even living here anymore. How do they know how good or bad it is, kind of thing. So one, for your renters, and then two, it's telling Google like, hey, I'm still here, I'm still relevant, I'm still giving updates, and just tells them that you're still just as important.
What would be just a quick, good, realistic review strategy a community could start this week? Let's just say a community, they have no reviews. They have reviews, they're getting reviews,
Yes.
Some good, some bad, but they really don't have a strategy. Is there anything they can easily do to get started?
Yes, one of my favorite topics. So in your Google business profile, there is a get reviews section. So if you go over to it and you act like you're going to edit something on your GBP, there's an actual get reviews link and it gives you a tiny link. And what that means is it's not a full long URL. That's google.com/property/whatever. And so it's a tiny link. My favorite thing is to go into your CRM system, identify 5 to 10 people that would give you a review if you ask for them for one today. Make it as easy as possible for them. Send them a message in your CRM, whether that's a text or an email. Call them by their name. Don't just say, hey, leave us a review. Say, hey, Josh, loved seeing you while you were getting coffee the other morning. We hope you still love living here. Would love if you could leave us a Google review when you have a moment. Input the link that Google sends you, and now you've made it really easy for that person. So now I've recognized you by name. I sent you a link directly. All you have to do now is click the link there and go and find it and leave a review. It's so easy. It's so much more personal. You don't even have to talk to anybody. You don't even have to leave your desk chair. And now you've asked 5 or 10 people for a review and you've made it very easy for them. My easiest one. I mean, a lot of times when you ask people for reviews in person, they can say, yeah, I'd love to, but we all get busy. We all forget. So giving them that link that they can go back to on their phone and hit it very quickly is my favorite thing and works the best.
That's awesome. All right. So moving on, talk a little bit about website factors, content, and that sort of thing. Here's one. Should every property have its own dedicated neighborhood or location page?
I love a neighborhood and location page. If we'll say big if they're kept up with and they're correct. I love a neighborhood page if I can see all of the great things around me, especially if it's interactive by tab and I can see restaurants, I can see gyms, I can see schools, like whatever it is I want to look at. But I want them to be accurate and clickable. If you just have a neighborhood page where it's literally just restaurants listed and I can't see what relation they are to the property and they're not great places, like you telling me there's a Walmart in the same town, that's not going to help me. So I love it when it's utilized well. If you don't have the capacity to do it, then I say leave it off and include an FAQ page where you say, what are some local area to shop around me, and phrase it that way versus having a neighborhood page that's not interactive and not helpful to the user.
Oh, that's great. Talking about local links and citations as ranking factors, what does that mean for a multifamily community? Because I know it's all over this report as well, but from a multifamily community, multifamily company that doesn't really understand what citations are, local links, what does that really mean for them? What do they need to be doing?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this in our backlinks episode, but it's using links within your website, linking between pages, making sure that it's easy to navigate around your site. If I'm talking about the pets on the amenities page, maybe I'm linking to the pet policy. 1, internal linking. And then 2 is maybe you're working with, I know we gave some great examples on that episode of having backlinks on other sites and making ourselves relevant, partnering with local places or local blogs, doing that kind of thing, having your link live on other places. All it's doing is showing Google that, 1, internally, people are clicking around and going back within links, but then they're also, you show up in the Wilmington, North Carolina market, you're showing up in all these different places and with your own page, and that you've got strong link signals. So you don't want it to be the only place anybody can ever find something about your, amenities is only on one page on your website. You want it linking throughout. You want it linked somewhere else. You want another source of it. So just making sure that your links are active and they're listed in more than one place, I would say is the key thing.
And talking about, what about local partnerships, restaurants, coffee shops, schools? Is there an opportunity there for link building and visibility, you think?
I think if you use it right, I wouldn't say just spam all these people and say, hey, I'll mention your link if you mention mine, kind of thing. But I think there's some markets that do it really, really well. I think, if in your market you are a niche, small town market, I would say I'm mentioning Wilmington just because I was an agent there, but they can be very small town. And so partnering with the local surfing school and doing some kind of special means a lot more to those people than, me being in Raleigh and partnering with like Harris Teeter down the street. Like that's not going to mean anything to anybody. So I would say as long as it's meaningful and makes sense for your property.
Awesome. So what I want to do is I just pulled up. So there's a couple of things I want to read off, and I think it would be good just to kind of list the top 5 things for the 3 different categories they cover in this study. So the 2026 local organic ranking factors. So this is organic, like local search, local maps pack. So the number 1 ranking factor, a dedicated page for each service. Now, super important. Now, obviously, you are a multifamily company. You've got properties. So you've got your amenities page. You've got your floor plans page. You may even have a page for pets, right? Your pet policy, that sort of things. You may have a blog page as well. But also carry that through to your Google business listing. Super important. So there's a services section there. So you do want to list everything out, break it out as much as you can in the services section on the Google business profile. The second thing they list is geographic, city, neighborhood, keyword relevance of content. So it's all about where that person is actually searching from in terms of what they give served up. So if they're close to your property, you're in that vicinity, the keyword is relevant, you're more than likely your property is going to get served up in local search. The third thing, quality authority of inbound links to domain. What does that mean? That's simply backlinks, right? Having decent backlinks that go right back to your property website. We've talked all about that in lots of different episodes on our SEO mini-series that we've done. We've mentioned it in this show as well. The number 4 thing, keywords in Google Business Profile landing page title tag. So again, we've talked about title tags, importance of keywords. One thing I do want to mention on your Google business profiles, we've said it before, I'll say it again. A lot of times you may just have your property name. Let's just say your property is called Stella. And for your Google business listing, your name on that listing is Stella, and that's it. Well, if you go in and add the word apartments to that, that's going to give you a lot better opportunity of showing up and ranking for a specific keyword with the word apartments in it. So there's definitely some importance there. So be thinking about that. The same thing when it comes to your own website. I mentioned it early. Consistency is key. Title tags, meta description, H1 tags, make sure your keywords are in that and it's consistent across everything from your Google business profile to your property website. And the 5th thing for local organic ranking factors is quality of inbound links to domain from industry relevant domains. So let's talk about that for a second, Caroline. I think that could be like, when you think about industry relevant, so like apartments.com, right? So if you have a listing on apartments.com that links to your website, right? That could be one. What else? You could do other sites like, let's say, Apple Maps. Could that be considered industry relevant? Maybe. That might be a little bit more of a citation, if you would. Apartmentratings.com, anything like that can all be considered industry relevant.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the AI search visibility factors. And I just want to list these out really quick. Don't want to be talking the whole time, but I just want you guys to be fully aware of these. So the number 1, presence of business on expert curated best of and similar lists. So this is an interesting one, right? So, in San Diego, we do have a lot of best of lists. So there'll be different news outlets that'll publish, the best of San Diego restaurants, the best of San Diego local businesses, right? So being able to be placed on one of those lists, there's obviously a weight towards that when it comes to AI search visibility. Number 2, dedicated page for each service, just like in the local search one we already talked about. Number 3, prominence on key industry relevant domains. Number 4, quality authority of unstructured citations, such as newspaper articles, blog posts, government sites, industry associations. Some of those might be a little bit harder to get as a link. And number 5, authority of third-party sites on which reviews are present. So get
It's a good one.
Google business reviews, obviously, and then everything else that's out there. Yelp is another one out there. And probably apartments.com, they allow reviews, I believe, as well. Is that right,
Yep.
Caroline? So
They do.
that would be another one. So
yeah.
all right, let's go ahead and talk about wrapping this up. A couple last things here. If a multifamily marketer only has time to improve 3 things this week based on the Whitespark report, what do you think they should focus on?
Okay, number 1, let's go GBP optimization, making sure that you're optimized on there. Number 2, reviews. Quickly send out those review links, just like we talked about. That'll only take you a minute.
Okay.
Number 2, and number 3, let's say just checking each of your title tags, your web pages. I know we talk about this in SEO, but quickly doing a quick look at your website, making sure that those internal pages say what they need to say. They're mentioning your location, they're linking together. So doing that quick look and making sure that everything, just like you said, consistent, relevant, matches, each one of those pages is talking about what you are.
Oh, you know what? You stole my 3. That's exactly what I would say too. So, if I was answering this question, the 3 things I would do is for sure, Google Business Optimization. That profile's not going away. So you got to be taking advantage of it, and you got to literally do everything Google wants you to do on it, right? So, and if there's a top 3, that's obviously the name, right? Make sure you have the word apartments in your name if you can. Let's also make sure your hours are showing. Make sure there's a link to your site as well. And most importantly, choose multiple categories. You can choose a primary category and a bunch of secondary categories. Make sure you choose those as well. And right now, I'm looking for the podcast episode. Give me a second, guys, here. Let's see. Which one was the Google Business Profile one we did here? Bear with me.
That was pretty early, maybe.
Let's see here.
3 or 4.
Hold on. I'm going to find it in 1 second. Oh, here we go. So if you tune back to episode 6, just go to resident360.com/podcast. Episode 6 is Outrank Your Competitors, the Multifamily Google Business Listing Breakdown. That's a really good one. We go through full optimization for your listing for your property. So definitely check that out. The second thing I would say is reviews. Absolutely. You got to have a review plan in place. And review recency is huge right now. I mean, it is absolutely massive for property. So it doesn't matter if you've got 300 reviews, right? And it matters that you're constantly getting those reviews. It shows you're active. Things are happening at your property. It's lots of signals that are happening with Google. So you got to make sure that's happening. And the last thing is title tags, meta description, basically on-page signals, all that on-page SEO stuff. Very easy to do, but title tags, meta description, H1 tags, make sure it's all lined up in order, and most importantly, consistent. So those are the 3 things I would focus on as well. And all right, I think with that, you got any last tips for this, Caroline, after reviewing this report before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think take a quick look at the report. I think this is interesting, and we'll see how it shifts in 2026. Interesting stuff on some AI visibility that's moving up in there. So I think just staying on top of it. It does change, but I think there's some great resources out here for us to be able to stay on top of.
Awesome stuff. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in today. We will be back next week with another episode of the Multifamily Marketers Podcast. As always, please share with your team, friends, everybody else. Help us grow the show as well. And we will see you next week. Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.